All right, and it begins. So let's go through some of the most popular questions. What are the questions you guys are dying to ask? So I'm going to like guess. I'm not going to look at the chat. I'll guess. What's the questions you guys desperately want to ask? Have you found any major exploits? The answer is no. No. I have found one. It's kind of cheesy. But for the most part, no, I've not found any major exploits. There aren't any, as far as I'm aware. There probably will be more cracks form as time goes on. But for the most part, no major exploits. So should I like make a basic guide about some of the mechanics? I can put this on my second channel. That would be a really good idea, wouldn't it? As far as I was aware, they didn't change the way supply worked. Like you can't change where supply comes from. Supply still originates from the capital. So in this case, as you can see here, this is the capital hub, which has a maximum supply count of 80 supply. You see all these railway lines? Oh, choo-choo, man, look at those boys. That is bringing the supplies to different destinations on the map. And supplies are consumed based on the divisions around a certain region. You can see the region when you hover over it. That's how big the supply hub can reach out and give supplies. And if you want to, you can give additional supply to this hub, which extends the supply hub's range by offering motorized and double motorized. Probably the easiest way that I've found of boosting supply is go to the supply hub that's having difficulties. So let's see, can you see all the red here? This supply hub's having a really hard time. So what you could do manually if you wanted to is find the railway. In this case, this is a level 2 railway, and you can click here and it gives an extra layer of railway. So each one of these parts is a segment of the railway line between these two supply hubs. So this will boost supply running from here to here. But remember, all supply originates from the capital. So in that circumstance, it means that the supply here won't get any higher, because if this is level 2 and then this is level 3, there'll be a bottleneck here. See, it's just the way the old system used to work, but now it's based on railway lines. So what they've conveniently done, which I think required, is if you click on a hub and upgrade railway lines, let's just remove that. This button is the magic button. You press it, boop. So now it's going to basically upgrade all the railway lines from here to the capital to meet a fixed level. So you see the ones they're upgrading? This one here and this one here. So my guess would be is everything else is level 2, but these two are level 1. So it's upgrading these ones. So what happens if we press it again? So what it's going to do now is everything from Vladivostok to Moscow is now level 3. Well, it's going to be upgraded to level 3. The maximum is level 5, by the way. Boom again and boom again. Now it's grayed out. So now, when it's produced all of these railway lines, it'll be a maximum of 5 railway lines from the Moscow to my capital region. But that's not all. That's not all. You can click here to increase the supply hub range off the railway lines by saying you can have motorized here and double motorized here. So just think of it like this. The trains deliver the supplies, and outside the train station, there's horses, backpack horses, take the supplies off, like the shells and the ammunition. But what you can say is like, no horses, we'll have motorized. And then if you want more motorized, what is the production cost for railway lines? That's a very good question. Is 170 plus an extra 130 for each existing railway line level. So I presume that means each piece is 170 plus 130 for each of the 5 levels. So you can see really closely. I can see it ticking down. It's actually kind of hard to see because some of them build up so quickly, you don't actually see the progress bar go across. So you can see now this is what's being built up. You can see, look, now they're at level 5, building it higher and higher and higher. That's pretty cool, isn't it? But this is a lot of production cost, and you always want to get your production as high as possible. Because one thing I have noticed with this new expansion pack is, wow, do you have a lot of supply problems? But that's not all. Infrastructure now has 5 levels instead of 10, and it does the same thing it did before. I'm not certain if infrastructure boosts supply. Oh, it increases fuel capacity. Building provides the state with improved infrastructure, increasing the supply power in the strategic regions, increasing the division speed, as well as increasing the raw resource extraction. Let's just find out. So this one here, supply hub Minsk, is 20 for cheat. Cheating. And max that out. And now we're at 20. But then you can still boost it by adding the motorized to it to give it an extended range. How much do hubs cost? Oof. That was a very good question. Hubs are 20,000 production costs, which is almost double the cost for a single civilian factory. They are mighty expensive. The way it works is basically they don't ever want you to do this. But I'm surprised they're giving you the option. It surprises me that actually. Yeah. But yeah, you can do it, but be aware it is bloody expensive. So I bought a supply dub here. It has no connection to the capital. I guess you could do motorized, I guess, to give it some supply. And then we would make a railway line. Once again, I'm a little bit fresh with this one, so give me a chance to understand it, because I think you have to click from the railway route and then just click where you want it to go. Right, okay. It's like there's a bit of a knack to this to understand how it works. You've got to you can't click on the hub, because that opens up the hub. You have to select the province next to the hub. You have to get your mind around it. And it builds a railway line. Choo-choo. Oh, look at the building, the railways. Oh, damn, boys. Oh, this is pretty cool, isn't it? You think about it. You can actually see the railway lines getting built on the map. Oh, there's a bridge. And now there's a total of 15 supply coming to this new hub. Wowee. Trans-Siberian Highway. Amazing, right? Amazing. Oh yeah, let's talk more about supply. So divisions now have supply on them. So in the past, supply was black and white. It's either something is in supply or something is out of supply. And therefore it's out, it suffers a penalty when attacking, defending. Or if it's in supply, there is no penalty. So let's just deploy a division. Boom. So now, if you move it into a supply region, oh yeah, here we can know. You can actually see the supply. So based on the location of these divisions, these supply depots are getting stressed based upon the supply needed to fuel these divisions. As you can see, this one just gives 1 of 20, 3 of 20, 2 of 20. Okay, here it shows it here. Can you see supply status? They have 77% supply stored. Yeah, this division has status supply stored 74%, and it's ticking down because it's in a slow supply region, resulting if that division was in combat, it would suffer from a major penalty. So the way it kind of works is when you're on the offensive, you've got max supply. They're carrying lots of supplies with them, but as long as the offensive goes for, the more supply drops down, therefore the penalties go higher and higher. How much trucks do boost supply? Do you mean logistics teams? I don't know if there's a built-in calculation based on how much supply a division holds on to. I'm not actually sure, but let's talk about a small change, and that is the logistics companies. So this might be a hidden number somewhere, but can you see that? Logistics companies are adding +10 breakthrough. Now, I might be wrong about this, but I never recalled that number even existing. So logistics now add extra breakthrough, +10 breakthrough, extra HP, less org, reliability is down, but of course the amount of supply using drops by 10%. Personally, I'm going to tell you right now, I think the new meta is all divisions will have logistics on them now. To reduce overall supply consumption and let divisions fight for longer is going to be the new meta. It's surprising to me that there isn't like a system where certain divisions can carry extra supplies with them, because you presume like a motorized division could carry more supplies than an infantry division. Surprisingly, that motorized division is only 0.39. But now, speaking of supply, trains. I love trains, right? Boom. I love trains. Every game that I've made, I'll just put like one military factory in trains and just like gradually build production efficiency. If you want to see your trains usage, you go here, logistics fulfilled. Amount of trucks needed 0, currently in supply 116, and then trucks, 50 trucks needed, and 482 in supply. So here's something a little bit extra as well. I feel like a lot of players are going to forget about this, so I'm just going to let you guys know straight away. So you're probably thinking to yourself, having to manually click on all these supply hubs and change them to double motorized for the extra range is going to be an amazing ball ache. And then get this, I'll forget that a supply hub has motorized on it. And I'll be like, oh crap, I forgot. I'm wasting motorized on this supply hub. Well, get this, there's an easy shortcut version. You know the shortcut version? This here. So you select the army and you basically just say triple motorized, but then it automatically means all hubs around it will get double motorized. See these two? And you can see that changing all the hubs around it to the double motorized to give it that extra bit of supply, and it cancels off the previous ones as well. So for instance, a tank division, you could say always triple motorize that, so therefore the priorities for the equipment always go to that one first. Will Mega Strat Bomb be able to destroy enemy supply or trains? Supply hubs, yes. They can bomb hubs and railways, but they can't hit the trains. You know what can hit the trains? Tactical bombers and close air support with logistical bombing. Attack the enemy logistical capabilities such as trains and trucks, and it will damage the railway lines particularly. I played a game as Germany, and the Allies logistically bombed you left, right, and center. And all you were doing the whole game was repairing railway lines. Right now, more than ever, we need a button that says prioritize infrastructure and railway lines to be repaired over everything else. I don't know why that button still does not exist. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Speaking of trains, we'll look at the trains. So there's two kinds of trains. We have the, in this case, AFD class, 70 production cost. And this one is the more advanced one. Can anyone tell the difference? The difference is it's cheaper. It's just cheaper. The new advanced train is just cheaper. That's it. And then at this point, if you want a train that's, you don't need it for numbers, you need it for protection, you can go for these ones. But look at the production cost. A production cost. Oof. More steel too. Lots of armor though. Increases the amount of damage that can be taken by enemy logistical strikes before the train is destroyed. And then, of course, we have the railway guns everyone's talking about. Their cost is astronomical. Production cost as well, the resources required. 1,000 manpower. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. It's so green. As you can see, they're a little bit like ships. Take a while to build. I think the idea behind it is they've artificially put a cap on the production of them to prevent you from spamming them, which kind of makes sense in all fairness. They are pretty strong. Yeah, that speed at the time. That was nice. If you powered up a supply hub, do the divisions use that supply then? I think that probably will be the new meta. I think you'll be able to drop a division on a supply hub to snip supply. To be fair, just as equally as strong to drop a paratrooper on a railway line to chop the railway line, so therefore to disconnect the supply as well. Remember, the divisions won't lose supply instantly as well. They will tick down over time. So when you initially make that encirclement, you need to act fast to make sure you lock those divisions in place. You need intel to see enemy supply hubs? No. You see all of them. It's a bit weird, isn't it? You think that would be part of the La Resistance, wouldn't you? But no, you can just see them all. Can't see airports, but you can see all the supply hubs and railway lines. So I'm not actually going to play around with the railway guns, so I'm going to do that now. I'll wait for one to build. They're here. Oh, they just appear on your capital, and you just attach them onto your armies. Wow. Wow. I never even knew how they work. So the minute you build them, they just appear on your capital. So let's test them out then, guys. Let's invade. Right, here we go. Division. Well, they just took out one of our railway guns. Oh, boom! Railway gun. Bombardment, minus 10%. Wow. Wow. I think minus 10%, like shore bombardment on the ground is actually really, really strong. I think it's very strong. The railroading the railway guns. The way the mechanic works is interesting. Oh, see these lines here. This indicates... I presume these lines indicate it's getting hit by shore bombardment. I could be wrong, though. I keep calling it shore bombardment. I'm so sorry. Anyway, that demonstrates the railways, the supply. That concludes the supply section of this video.